Welcome, everyone, to the first episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. This is going to be our Fake Nerds Watch series for the 5th Star Trek series, I believe. Star Trek Strange New Worlds. With me is Cookie from Just a Little Podcast.
What's up, my friend? This is a
How are you,
beautiful
sir?
day in history, man. Beautiful day in history.
Yeah, I'm really happy that this background is colorful, unlike our last show, which had a very black background.
It pops. It definitely pops a lot.
Yeah. So, what did you think of the first episode, which is titled Strange New Worlds?
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The world building from the very get-go I thought was wonderful. The scenery, I love the fact that we're getting this man haunted by his future.
Yeah.
And we see that continuously throughout this episode. It seems like it's going to be definitely something very continuous throughout the entire season until he realizes there is no escaping death, which I won't spoil it now. We'll get to it in this episode. But
No, full spoilers. Full spoilers.
okay. We have this monologue with him kind of realizing that he knows the future, and because he knows the future, he has the ability to use that to impact other people in other worlds to help them either join the Federation or become stronger as a civilization.
I really loved this. I thought this was excellent. This was this was Star Trek, baby.
This is a pilot. This is a pilot.
This was exactly what I wanted it to be. When I saw the trailers, I was like, man, this looks cool. This is funny.
Yes.
It's got a great tone to it. It's bright. It's fun. I was just so jazzed by this episode. I've watched this twice, and I want to watch it a third time. I think that there's a lot to love in this one, and what you're talking about of like, this is a really interesting first contact scenario, right?
Yes,
like we've never seen this before. There's like, yeah, we got probes, and the probes told us they have warp technology, so we'll go do first contact. Wait, they don't have warp technology. Like, they're on the ship and they're like, this is 21st century tech. What the hell are they doing?
Yeah.
Why are we doing first contact with these people? How did they develop faster than light travel?
And then you find out
it's a bomb.
It's a bomb. And more importantly, they realize this technology due to Discovery season going out into space.
Yeah. The fight, the battle at the end of Discovery season 2 is important to this season, to this episode specifically, because that's how these people were able to develop warp technology. They were able to develop a matter antimatter containment chamber so that they could create a weapon. And Pike has this great moment. Again, like, the Enterprise doesn't fire a single weapon in this episode. And he says to them, let me show you, you're very similar to our Earth. Let me show you what happened to us.
Love this. Yes.
Because because he says to Spock, it's like, humans, we know we're going to die, but up until the very last minute, we still think we can cheat it.
Yes.
We still think we can escape it.
On his face. So brilliant.
And then when he says, when La'an is like, knowing that when you don't think you're going to die makes you cocky. And he says, like, okay, you know what? Let me show you what's going to happen to you if you develop this technology, if you continue down this path. Here's the 3 wars we went through that wiped out our civilization.
We are jumping ahead, though.
Yeah, I know, but like this is all part of like, I don't care about not jumping ahead, because look at this. I want to show you my notes. So we just recorded Picard. Here are my notes for Picard.
Okay.
Right? Every blank spot is filled. Let me tell you my notes for Strange New Worlds.
That's it?
That's it. Because I loved this episode.
Wow. Okay.
And I don't write down notes for things that I love.
Look at that.
Because after a while, you end up just being like, oh, I love that. I loved that. I love that. What with but because I have nothing critical to say about this. There was a I watched Trek Culture on YouTube, which has the series of ups and downs that
Mhm.
talk about like, and they were just like, yeah, up. They gave this episode a perfect score, and I'm like, yeah, this
It,
is a
it's
perfect episode.
it's absolutely wonderful. It draws so much attention to certain people right off the jump. Of course, the story does revolve around Pike, especially, but we are getting so much depth already in all these different characters. And
And
one thing that stood out to me that I love is this bridge crew, and this crew so far has three males. That is it. Everybody is a female so far, and we have two number twos that are both females, which
number one.
sorry, number ones. I apologize. Number ones. We have two number ones that are both female that showcase what Star Trek is, which they like to push the boundaries on things that are current and they apply that to their show.
Well,
And this is like women empowerment, which I love.
Pike gets onto the ship, and he's like, "Hey, wait, I haven't done number one. I thought in Una's absence, you would be my number one, Spock." And
Spock,
Spock's
yeah.
like, "No, they want me in science right now, so they gave you La'an." And so, like, La'an's a cool character because she wasn't meant to be on the Enterprise. She impressed Pike, so she was given a commission on the Enterprise.
Mhm.
Um, and you already kind of get a sense of. So we don't really get to know. We don't really get to know Uhura. We don't really get to know Ortega's. We don't even meet the chief engineer in this episode, but that's fine because I know in the next episode we might, right? We
Mhm.
might get to know these characters more because this is what episodic storytelling can shine as. You don't need to constantly try to develop every character every episode. You can just focus on a few, and then the
Correct.
next episode you focus on a different few.
Correct. What was her name? This new number one. What was her last name?
La'an Noonien Singh.
So,
Yeah,
is she
yeah.
she is.
She is somehow related to Khan.
Okay, all right. Because I sat there, I was like, huh. I literally paused it
Where
and I
have
just
I
sat
heard
there
this name
and I
before?
was like, this is so interesting. So okay, all right, cool. That's
Yes.
very interesting how we have Discovery being tied in, and now we have Picard being tied in to a Strange New Worlds.
Well, not even it's not even Picard. It's just Star Trek history
Yeah,
because
that's true. Yeah.
Khan is in the best Star Trek movie. Khan was introduced in the original series. Um, okay, I want to be clear. Khan is in the best Star Trek movie, which is The Wrath of Khan. Do not
Mhm.
anybody tell me that Into
Don't
Darkness
you?
is a good movie. I will
I was
kill
gonna
you
say,
all.
don't we bring in Benedict Cumberbatch in here? No, no, no.
Yeah, and we get like hints of like there's something more going on with her because she's like, I don't want a sedative. Don't give me a sedative. Just give me the thing. And it's like it's very painful.
Mhm.
Speaking of, I love Mbenga. Uh, right
Yes.
away, I'm in love with this man.
Yes.
Um, and he, Chapel, Nurse Chapel is delightful. I
Oh
hate
yeah.
Chapel. I want it on record. I hate Nurse Chapel from Star Trek: The Original Series. I hate
But
her so much.
but
No, no, but I want to get my hate out real quick. No, but yet. I think she's a terribly written character. There's no slight on Majel Barrett. She's a good actress. She's fine. I like all of her. I like. I even like Luxana, who she plays in Next Generation.
Mhm.
Um, when I heard that she was going to be in the show, I was like, okay, great, cool, whatever. But in the original series, her only purpose is to swoon for Spock. That's
That's
really
it.
it. And that's
Which we
that's
get glimpses of here.
but she is such a more compelling character. Already
Yes.
in one episode, she's my standout.
Yes. It reminded me of Luna Lovegood, which is from Harry Potter. The blonde, everything's very bright, very white on her, and
Mhm.
she's meant to stand out. And it feels like it was intentionally put that way. She's meant to be set apart from her counterparts in previous shows, and I
She's
love that.
she's the only character, she's the only legacy character that on the show that I'm like, I don't see how you become the one from the original series.
Yeah, same.
I don't see that path. but I don't care because this is a more engaging version of that
This is great.
character.
Yes.
So like you know what? She's Chapel's sister. I don't care. Um, I really like that character. I really like her interaction with Uhura. The chase scene on the halls of the Enterprise, and then just running. I love just running. Is the emergency transporter up? Running. Let's go. Beaming to
So
the
good.
bridge. Oh man, I really like this episode.
You and me both. And this, for a pilot, this one pushed the boundaries a lot because we got a lot more skin than we normally do,
Mm.
especially in
Yeah,
the
we
Star
see
Trek.
we see Captain Patel.
Yes.
Captain Pike and Captain Patel had a wonderful night together.
A wonderful
Um,
night.
do you know who have we talked about Robert April
No.
together?
Mm-mm.
So, do you know who that person is who recruits Pike, who like comes to him in the shuttle?
No, I do not.
So that's the first captain of the Enterprise.
Okay.
So the
Yes, we did
Enterprise,
talk about this, and you said
yeah,
that they took him and they made him African American rather than keeping him
yeah,
Caucasian. Yeah.
yeah, because the animated series is not canon. Sorry, guys, it's not. The so like it doesn't matter. It's cool that Robert April is still a character in Star Trek, but like you can whatever. I
Mhm.
really like this. I really like this actor for him, and it's really cool that we now have a show where all three captains of the Enterprise could potentially team up. Just could we see a mission where Robert April, Captain Pike, and Lieutenant Kirk just go have fun for a minute?
Right?
I'd be totally into that next season.
That'd
Hell
be
yeah.
cool.
Speaking of Lieutenant Kirk, the balls to bring in Samuel Kirk
With a mustache, a
with that.
full mustache. Because we get no facial hair really. At least
Well,
like in this the TOS era, we don't have facial hair.
so in the original series, when we first meet, we meet Sam Kirk in the original
Mhm.
series, and he's dead. Like we see his dead body, and it's played by William Shatner in a bad mustache.
Yes.
So it's funny that they brought us like Lieutenant Kirk, who you requested, da, 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 and everyone's like, "Oh my god, James Kirk's on the Enterprise already? That's weird. He served on the Farragut beforehand." But it's Lieutenant Kirk. It's Samuel Kirk.
Mhm.
Crazy. I didn't know he was in the show beforehand. That's a good surprise. I'm really curious to see how this goes, and it's kind of cool that we get to see more about this character because, again, the only time we've ever seen this character, he's been dead.
Yes. And right off the bat, it's not the normal military style of coming on like very, very formal. It was like, hey, Chris.
Yeah. Or I mean, sorry, Captain.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a swagger, there's a fun adventure energy to this. It's Ortega's is in the chair and they're just like it's like we got a problem. And it's like always when I'm in the chair.
Yes.
Um Kyle uh beaming a liquid into Spock's eye.
Yes. That is so bizarre and crazy.
I would never trust that. Do not do that. You're gonna like my eye's gonna get. You're gonna pop my eye out or something. Because
Like
like
the precision to do that.
yeah, he even says like it's not possible. We make it possible. It's very Chief O'Brien. Like
Yeah.
we got to figure out how to make this thing that can't work work.
Yes. And it's not
Um,
like, oh, we're given a day. It's like, no, we're given minutes.
yeah. There's the bit where so okay, something that is a little strange for me, but I kind of understand for like we got to kind of move the plot. It's weird that instead of just walking out in their Kylie garb, which is the species name, they're
Mhm.
just like, "Here's I got got my thing, I got my stuff." Like they beamed, like it's in the transporter buffer,
That they
and
get changed.
they get changed in the in transport. That was weird. That's not a
Yeah.
thing ever.
But now it is.
I guess it's weird.
And Spock looks good in shorts.
No, he doesn't. Oh, I knew T'Pring was in the show. I didn't think we'd meet her this early.
Mhm.
It's really cool to see them have that date,
Yes,
and you're just like because that doesn't end well.
correct.
So you're just like, yeah, T'Pring's like, I really want to marry you, Spock, and let's go have sex. Spock,
Hold
are you
on.
naked?
Duty calls.
Um, there's the bit where like so you can tell like T'Pring already is just like, you know, your duty to Starfleet isn't going to work with your duty to me.
Yeah,
And that's pretty good setup for where we see T'Pring in the original series.
correct.
Um, Also strange that Pike knew T'Pring, but Kirk didn't.
Yeah.
Strange, right?
They're pushing the boundary a lot on canon, what's not canon now.
Yeah, I don't mind though because there's nothing breaking. There's nothing breaking canon.
Yeah.
I don't think. Not here
Besides
anyway.
the war timeline.
Duh, just don't move the eugenics wars. Just keep it in the
Yeah.
90s.
How do you
Don't
how do you feel about their uniforms with the two-piece separation uniforms, the high boots, and like it's so close, but yet it's got its subtleties of differences
so there's
from TOS.
this looks very similar to the Kelvin timeline. It's like Star Trek '09, those
Okay.
uniforms, because they had a like a gold tunic over a black shirt, a black
Mhm.
undershirt. But that was really busy, and I don't necessarily care for that. I actually do really enjoy this look. I like this fit. I think the subtlety and the design on the shoulders is kind of cool. The only thing I'm not crazy about is just in general, I don't like it being a two piece
Okay.
because the original series it's not the black. It's just a black collar.
Gotcha.
Um,
Do you like their
the
badges?
other thing is like yeah, I don't mind the change to the badges. I kind of do miss like just like it being a patch, but I don't mind the badges.
Okay.
Um, there's the there's the Discovery season 2 uniforms when Pike shows up in that show. I think that's so far been the best update of the original series uniforms
Mhm.
to date. No, I take that back. Star Trek Beyond. Star Trek Beyond is the best original series uniform updates to date.
I'm
They're
trying to
pretty
remember.
good.
You're the expert, so
You know what? I'm gonna show you. So make a point while I look this up, so we can
okay.
stall for some time.
But yeah, I once I saw the uniforms, I thought that that was very clever on their part to reimagine something that a lot of people are so very much common with and used to, but at the same time keep it very fresh. And I love, like I said, I love the fact that we're getting a lot more female empowerment. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think those rule.
The only
Um,
thing is, I don't like Captain Kirk's like color. I wish it was a little bit more brighter rather than like a dirty mustard.
oh sure.
That's the only thing. I like
Um,
vibrant colors.
and you get a lot of them in this episode.
Yes, we do, which is so refreshing, and I think that's something that previous Star Trek has had, like, especially with TOS, has had those
Mhm.
vibrant colors. You're walking onto the bridge, and it's like the reds, you're getting all that vibrancy. I love that.
Yeah, I really like the look of the Enterprise and this. Just exterior, the exterior of the Enterprise looks great. The interior of the Enterprise looks great. Um, I've always loved this. I've always loved this. The original Enterprise, and kind of, I think it's a good update. I know there's some people who are a little upset at the. Let me show you the. So I have this little model of the Enterprise. This is the original. This is the
Okay.
TOS Enterprise.
Mhm,
Um, See how the nacelles are held on by these straight pylons?
mhm.
The new Enterprise design for this show, the pylons are slanted back.
Okay.
There's some people saying calling foul on that, but I think it's such a minor change that I was just happy that the deflector dish was sticking out. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, they got the deflector dish sticking out. You didn't need to do that. Uh,
It's I thought it
yeah.
was really, really cool. I love the look of it. I think everything about it was yeah. And I how do you okay, so we got the intro beforehand before the show, and then
Oh
we got
yeah,
the
that little like the Enterprise flying around and makes the Delta. That's cool.
yes, that was, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was so awesome. I was like, "Okay, okay, you guys have got my attention."
The intro, the space, the Final Frontier, so good. I'm so happy we
Yes.
got to see that again. It looks great. I really like the new theme for it. Feels like a good update to the original series theme
Mhm.
because like he shouldn't have the original series theme. Like admittedly that should be Kirk's, but like it's still solid. I
Yeah.
man, I don't. Let me see if I have an actual note I could bring up. Oh, the USS Archer.
Yes.
I'm always here for some Enterprise love.
Yes. You and me both. I love Enterprise. Always
Shouldn't
good.
shouldn't the first president of the Federation have a much more grand ship named after him than just a
Yeah.
saucer with a nacelle
Definitely.
with 3 people manning it?
Right?
But I digress. It's cool that they called it the USS Archer. Discovery had the Starbase Archer or whatever it was.
Mhm.
Picard had the QV 165 from the Enterprise. Like a lot of Enterprise love. I'm really enjoying that.
For sure.
Um, yeah.
One thing
Go ahead.
I loved was the sound that we got throughout this entire episode.
Yeah.
We have so many callback sounds that are quintessential to Star Trek TOS.
So
And
many great redesigns of the technology too.
yeah.
Um, you see the tricorder and it looks like the old tricorder, just kind of a little bit more modern.
Yeah.
Um, you see like the communicator looks just out of the original series. Everything's kind of got just like a more modern sensibility to it. But this to me is the kind of update that I always wanted from Star Trek. It's the thing when Discovery was like, we're going to update all this stuff. I'm like, okay, great, you can update it, but like, don't lose the iconography. And I think Discovery did lose the iconography.
Mhm. I can agree.
And I
How
and I
did
think
you
that go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, just no, it's gonna be something totally different, so continue on.
Oh, I was gonna say like there's a quote from Akiva Goldsman, who's the showrunner of the show, who I normally don't really like, but he wrote a hell of an episode. He said that like when he came on board, Discovery was in production, and he'd only heard of Discovery, and he was like, "Oh, so you're gonna do a prequel to Star Trek? So you're gonna do Pike Spock #1?" And when he came on board Discovery, and they were like, "No, we're not doing them. We're doing something completely different." It's like, that's the show, though. That's the show you do. Why do you go back here and you don't do that show? And so he was like completely baffled by it. So that's why the Enterprise shows up at the end of Discovery season 1. That's why Pike's in Discovery season 2. And then that's why the show exists. Is because for when he came on board Discovery, he was like, you should
You
have
wanted
always
this.
you should have always done this show. You should never have
Yeah.
done Discovery. You should have always done this show.
Mhm.
And I agree.
For sure.
What were we gonna say?
For a pilot, we get a really strong story, and it's simple, but it's a really strong story. Pike's #1 went on to a first contact, and now they're out of communication range. Something went wrong, so now Christopher Pike is taken out of. He's not in retirement. He's just not. He's trying to figure out what he wants to do.
He's
If
not
he wants to
sure
come back.
he's not sure if he's going to return to command because he doesn't know what knowing his future will do to him. Will he be too
Correct. His
cautious?
journey.
Will he be too cautious? Will he be too reckless? Like he just doesn't know. And
Yes,
I think that's a good place to keep that character for this
for
first
sure.
episode.
I agree. I definitely agree, and I like the fact that they play on that a lot. And he only does this mission for one reason. He's like, "Oh, okay, it's my #1." At first, he was very hesitant. He's like, "Get someone else to do it." But then, deep down inside, he knows all along that his his future is not necessarily written completely. Like, yeah, he knows how he's gonna die, when he's gonna die. However, he has 10 years to go and figure out.
He has 6 years.
Oh, it's 6 years.
Well, he does say about a decade.
Okay.
It's actually about 6 or 7 years till
Okay,
this
so he has
happens.
about 6 or 7 years to still make an impact on people's lives and on his own life.
Yeah, I
And
mean, it's the brilliant thing about just the heart of this episode, which is like, what would you do if you knew when and how you were going to die?
yeah,
Like that's the it's his fate is not going to change. It is written. He is not going to make a left turn and all of a sudden he's not going to end up in that chair. No matter what happens, he's ending up in that chair.
correct.
Um, so like I think it's a good debate to have him be like, you know, if I get too reckless, I endanger the ship. If I'm too cautious, then what's the point of even going out there?
Mhm.
Yeah, I really like Captain Pike. I
I
really
do
like
too.
Ensign Mount as
I
Captain
definitely
Pike.
do. And I have to say, it still scares me a little bit every time I see that reflection. Like,
It's
whether he's looking
creepy.
down, yeah, whether he's looking down his chair, he's looking out into space, whatever it is, and we see that reflection of him, and it's almost like he becomes more and more grotesque.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
He's haunted by his future, which is
Yeah.
cool. I'm glad they didn't drop that from Discovery. They kept it a relevant part of that show. The Discovery references also don't lose you. You kind of it catches up. Like Spock's like, I miss my sister. You
Mhm.
went down to the Klingon planet of Borath and you saw your future. Like, that's all we need to know. We don't need to know. Yeah, and then Control tried to destroy the all sentient life in the galaxy by taking the sphere data out of Discovery. Like, we don't need to know all that for the show.
Correct. Yeah. It's not
Um,
not essential.
yeah, man, I don't know. I honestly don't know if I have much more to say. I really like this episode. This
It
is
was great. I loved there was a scene towards the end that I truly, truly enjoyed, and it was this concept of Earth was dying, so decided to bring the oceans into outer space in these bulbs.
oh no, Forest
Y-
specifically.
yes,
Um, during
and
World War
brought it back to
Three.
life.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful place to do like so Starbase One, which is the starbase we see is like yeah well these domes were made because the when World War Three was going on, some scientists sent out seed pods and they so that we wouldn't lose our thing, but we couldn't bring them down, so we just built a starbase here. I was like, that's
Yeah,
really pretty. That's a really beautiful way
it
to
is.
develop that.
Yes. So I love there's just these brilliant moments that you see that are just sprinkled throughout this episode in particular. One of those is where they're having this debate. The fractioning people of this new planet are having this debate because Pike said, "Hey, stop your war. What we do is we have debates. We have disagreements. We have arguments. We talk them out." So we
when
see the
he's,
two.
when he's like, take me to your leader.
Yes.
It's good.
Classic alien type of thing. So we see them arguing and he's being taken back and I forgot the exact line. I'm hoping you can remember the exact line he uses, but he kind of goes and lets them lead him. He says, "Hold on a second. Like, we haven't really lost yet." He's like he talks to his communicator that is sitting on the table.
Oh, emergency communicate Captain Pike to the Enterprise. Show me what you got, or something like that. He
Yeah.
brings
And
like
I was
the
like,
Enterprise comes down.
so cool, dude.
It's
Oh
good
my goodness. I smiled from ear to ear seeing that image, and he's like, "So, see, I'm the guy with the biggest stick now." And I was
because
like,
he's like
"Yes,
because he says like he tries to get through them. It's like when elephants fight, it's the grass that gets hurt.
yes,
Um, and they're like, he gave me proverbs, but I need a bigger stick. And
correct."
he's
And he's
like,
like,
so you're only going to listen to a bigger stick? Well, I have the biggest stick here,
"Yes." And then
so
out
stop.
comes his ship, just sitting there, and then you look down at the city, and it's this gorgeous view of the city, and it's like, wow, these guys really did a wonder on their imagination of world building in
I'm
just
really
one location.
I'm really happy with the set design of the show in general, the production design of it, because they have to create new species every week almost. I mean, I'm sure we won't see any species all the time, but like still, they have to create these new planets. And what I really appreciate about this is going back to classic Star Trek, not just
Mhm.
Next Generation, but like original series, where it's like this planet is like 21st century Earth. It's slightly different because it developed in a different way. It's got different cities, it's got different design buildings, but technologically wise, um, uh, politically wise, it's us right now.
Yep,
And so that creates the allegory
correct.
that has been missing from Star Trek in a long time. It now creates the idea of like, oh, this is now an allegorical story of you
Of
know
us.
Pike. Pike through Star Trek is telling us if we don't get better, we are going to incite these wars.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's wonderful, wonderfully
oh,
done.
yeah.
I love it. Do you think we are gonna go and see holodecks?
No, the holodecks weren't invented until the 24th century.
Okay. That
Why?
would have been nice. I just would love to have seen updated holodecks.
Okay, so here's two things for you. One, the holodecks were not invented until the 24th century, and the Enterprise was the Enterprise D was the first ship to be outfitted with them.
Okay.
However, Star Trek Discovery season 1 introduces that Discovery has, if not a full-blown holodeck, then a version of a holodeck,
Mhm.
which really ruffled some feathers when that aired, because it was like, that doesn't make any sense continuity wise. There is a Star Trek animated series episode where the Enterprise has a holodeck, but again, that show is not canon. Um, then so if you recall, Star Trek Discovery had a lot of holo technology, so like people would, instead of showing up on view screens,
The
they would just
screen.
kind of, they'd be like, "Yo,
Yeah.
I'm now walking around on the ship because I'm a hologram." Like they would
Mhm.
do that, which I always hated. I always hated that idea. I always hated that. Um, in season 2 of Discovery, Pike has to leave the Enterprise because that hologram technology is actively hurting the ship. Like it's making it malfunction. It's just not compatible. And
Mhm.
so when we get back to the Enterprise at the end of Discovery season 2, number one is like, yeah, we've shipped all the hologram technology. There'll be no
I
more
remember
holograms on the Enterprise.
that. He's so happy about it too.
Yeah. So I don't think we're seeing a holodeck technology. I think we're just going to ignore Discovery. Uh, Discovery's
Wipe it off.
canonical bluffs.
Gotcha. I
Um,
mean, because you can always do like well, this Enterprise is gonna be like the beta tester for holodecks.
no, but that was the Enterprise D. It's 400. It's like 200 years later. No, it's 80
It's
years later.
it's like a blink in the eye if you really think about it.
No, I don't want a holodeck. You can do all sorts of crazy stuff without doing a holodeck episode.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm excited for more of the show. I can't wait. I hope we get into more weird sci-fi though. One of the things I really appreciate about Lower Decks is how it brought back like weird 60s sci-fi elements.
Mhm.
And I hope we kind of get into that some more.
How do you feel about Pike drinking on the job?
Oh, Scotty was drunk all the time.
That's different. That's
He's the
totally
chief
different.
engineer. It is worse.
I was gonna say that's totally different.
He's the chief engineer. He can blow up the ship.
Ah, I mean,
Oops.
Scotty works better when he has a little bit of alcohol in him.
No.
Yeah.
There is alcohol. Look, the Federation has not developed synthahol yet, and so like there is alcohol on the ship. If he wants to have a drink, he can have a drink.
Yeah. I like the fact that they gave him like a full bar, pretty much like an actual bar lounge
Yeah,
inside of his
his
area.
his quarters are a lot bigger than Kirk's were in the original
They're
series.
huge.
Because there's a lot of like the original series. I appreciate that. Like I can still buy that this is the same Enterprise. It's just we're kind of looking at it from like a different lens. You
Mhm.
know, it's like we saw the Enterprise through a low budget lens. Now we're seeing the Enterprise through a high budget lens, and
Correct.
it's not like with the Kelvin franchise where I just can't see that Enterprise becoming the original series Enterprise. I can see how this Enterprise and the original series Enterprise are the same.
Mhm.
To me, it lines up fine.
Right
Okay,
on. But yeah,
I think
I
it's
don't have any complaints about this. I
no, I
am
really don't.
all for it. We've talked about we've been anticipating this day when it would come that we can sit down and talk about a Star Trek show that we all can gather around and love. And I think so far, granted, this is only the first episode, but you guys are starting on like on a really high note. So keep it up.
I would love for this episode for this season to go from strength to strength to strength, but by the very nature of episodic television, there will probably be an episode or two that aren't very good or that
Yeah,
just don't click with us. And the
that's
best
okay.
the best part about that is because it is episodic. Unlike something like Picard or Discovery, if a bad episode happens, that's now just wasted time. Like you've
Mhm.
wasted time in the overarching story that you're trying to tell.
Correct.
But for an episodic TV show, If it's not good, well, you move on. It's a completely new story that has no bearing on what came before it. So it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
It gives them a cushion to kind of take some risks
Sure.
to really to really try and do something new. And if it doesn't work, then they move on. They try something new.
Correct. And I've missed this type of Star Trek because
Me
we
too.
haven't had it in quite some time when you really think about it. It's been a good while since we've had live action episodic Star Trek.
It's really great to see what I would say the most classic Star Trek since Enterprise. Like
Mhm.
it's since Enterprise ended, I really love Lower Decks. I think Lower Decks is incredible. But Lower Decks is a comedy. It
Yeah.
is billed as a comedy. It tries to be a comedy. This is the first show that has tried to mimic what essentially a modern day version of the original series would have been. It's not
Mhm.
necessarily comedy, but it does still keep its humor. Um, it feels like that adventure story that the original series was billed as.
Yep.
Um, and so in that way, I think it's just really nice to have a classic Star Trek show on the air.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
That's it for me, man. I can't
Cool.
wait for episode 2. How many
Me,
episodes is this series gonna be? It's not enough.
it's not enough. It's
Bring
not
back the
enough.
old days and we can get like 20 episodes in there.
It's just these episodes are so expensive. Like
Yeah.
I understand because like these shows they look great and they are able to look great because they're short seasons with a lot of money.
Well, let me put out this little note for them. Get rid of Discovery. You already got to finish with
Put
Picard.
the money that you're using in Discovery.
Tell them right into this, and now you have double the budget. Bada bing, bada boom.
Like people really like Discovery, and I appreciate it. I have been struggling with it for the past 2 seasons. This is I'll keep going with Discovery until it just does something to like make me absolutely angry.
Oh yeah,
But
you and
like
me. Because I
it's
mean, for me, any Star Trek, I'm still happy with. Like
yeah.
as long as it's still on the air and it's still pushing, I'm happy.
But I'm so glad that this show is on the air now because now I can be like, well, I'll always have Strange New Worlds.
There you go. I need to talk to Mike, and I'm praying and hoping that he can get on the show and we can actually have a nice conversation to see if he likes the show because he hasn't liked Star Trek since Enterprise
Yeah.
and Lower
Well,
Decks, of
he
course.
likes Lower Decks. Yeah,
Yeah,
I would love to have Mike back. We talked about it off air, but he's been really busy lately. Hopefully he can come back soon because this is the second long hiatus that he's done from his
yeah,
podcast, and that sucks that he just can't get a consistent schedule.
for sure.
Um, all right, that'll do it. So that's Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, guys. We're gonna keep going. 9 more episodes to go. That seems so short.
It
Um,
does.
but we will be there recapping all the episodes for you, gushing about it hopefully every episode. So yeah, stay tuned. Cookie, why don't you plug your stuff?
All right. You can find me on social media on Instagram at Just Little Podcast, on Twitter at Just Podcasting. I'm on TikTok and I'm on YouTube as well. Just Little Podcast. Check me out there. I drop videos every once in a while. Yeah. And then, of course, the normal podcast every single Tuesday. I drop a new episode. I've been kind of mixing it up, talking pop culture and then having a guest on. So we'll see what happens on the next couple episodes. But it's been a good time. It's definitely been a good time. So,
If you need
and
a
you can always find me
guest,
here talking Star Trek with this lovely gentleman.
I mean, if you need a guest, I'm right here.
You're always welcome. You're always
Why
welcome.
don't you ask then? um, yeah, man, I'm really happy to be here talking Star Trek every week with you guys. It's been a lot of fun. You and Mike when he's here, it's always great. So yeah, guys, like this video, subscribe to this channel, check out all of our other Fake Nerds watches. We've just finished Picard. We have all the episodes of Star Trek season 2, Star Trek Picard season 2. That's all up now. You can check them out. There's all the episodes of Moon Knight. We've done. He and I didn't do Moon Knight, but like I was on it with my podcast hosts. We did Moon Knight, all 6 episodes that are up. Those are up now. Coming up for Fake Nerds Watch, obviously more Star Trek: Strange New Worlds. But then over on the channel is you can also see Obi-Wan Kenobi. When that drops, we'll be doing a Fake Nerds Watch for Obi-Wan Kenobi. So excited for Obi-Wan Kenobi, dude.
Same here.
So yeah, stay tuned for all of that. And again, like this video, subscribe to this channel, check out all of our other shows such as Basement Arcade, Pause Mini, Animation Station, and Fake Nerd Book Club. And you can check out, of course, our Mothership show. I forgot to mention Fake Nerd Podcast on Star Trek Picard, on the final episode of Star Trek Picard. So shit. But you can check out, of course, Fake Nerd Podcast, guys. It's the Mothership show. It's the show where all of this comes from. We've just talked about Star Trek. No, we've just talked about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And coming up is the unbearable weight of massive talent. If you want to join us there, we go live every Sunday. Otherwise, you can check it out on Monday. So that's that. We have a Patreon, we have a TeePublic. Sorry, I'm trying to remember all the things I plug. We have Patreon and TeePublic if you want to support us financially, such as that, or you can check out all the links on our website at fakenerdpodcast.com. We're on all the social medias at Fake Nerd Podcast. I am at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. I also write for Screen Rant. I also write for Atomic Geekdom, where I wrote an article about Robert April, the casting of Robert April, and why the outrage is ridiculous. Because again, not canon. And kaijuramenmedia.com is the fourth thing I do. Yeah, all that. BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. And yeah, okay. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Until next time we see us, guys.
Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.